Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. In today's video, we are looking at 5 ancient cities that no longer exist. Let's get into it. It seems implausible that an entire city could cease to exist. A sophisticated metropolis of art, architecture, kings, queens, food, and farmland could thrive for centuries, and then suddenly, for sometimes mysterious reasons, be lost to the hands of time. But thanks to archaeologists, losing a city completely, unless you're Atlantis, is harder than ever before. And now researchers are often able to unlock the day-to-day magic that shaped some of the world's most enlightened ancient cities. 5. Pompeii. Largely preserved under the ash, Pompeii offers a unique snapshot of Roman life, frozen at the moment it was buried, as well as insight into ancient urban planning. It was a wealthy town of 10 to 20,000 residents at the time it was destroyed. It hosted many fine public buildings and luxurious private houses with lavish decorations, furnishings, and artworks, which were the main attractions for early excavators. Subsequent excavations have found hundreds of private homes and businesses reflecting various architectural styles and social classes, as well as numerous public buildings. Organic remains, including wooden objects and human bodies, were interred in the ash. Their eventual decay allowed archaeologists to create molds of figures in their final moments of life. Following its destruction, Pompeii remained largely undisturbed until its rediscovery in the late 16th century. Major excavations did not begin until the mid-18th century, which marked the emergence of modern archaeology. Initial efforts to unearth the city were haphazard or marred by looting, resulting in many items or sites being damaged or destroyed. By 1960, most of Pompeii had been uncovered but left in decay. Further major excavations were banned or limited to targeted, prioritized areas. Pompeii is a UNESCO World Heritage Site, owing to its status as the only archaeological site in the world that provides a complete picture of an ancient Roman city. It is among the most popular tourist attractions in Italy, with approximately 2.5 million visitors annually. 4. Persepolis. Located in southwestern Iran, the ancient city of Persepolis was founded in 518 BC by Darius the Great, known as one of the most important rulers of the Achaemenid dynasty. The earliest remains of Persepolis date back to 515 BC. The city, acting as a major center for the empire, housed a palace complex and citadel designed to serve as the focal point for governance and ceremonial activities. It exemplifies the Achaemenid style of architecture. The complex was taken by the army of Alexander the Great in 330 BC, and soon after, its wooden parts were completely destroyed by fire, likely deliberately. The function of Persepolis remains unclear. It was not one of the largest cities in ancient Iran, let alone the rest of the empire, but appears to have been a grand ceremonial complex that was only occupied seasonally. The complex was raised high on a walled platform, with 5 palaces or halls of varying size and grand entrances. It is still not entirely clear where the king's private quarters actually were. Until recently, most archaeologists held that it was primarily used for celebrating Nowruz, the Persian New Year, held at the spring equinox, which is still an important annual festivity in Iran. It is also unclear what permanent structures there were outside the palace complex. It may be better to think of Persepolis as only one complex rather than a city in the usual sense. The exploration of Persepolis from the early 17th century led to the modern rediscovery of cuneiform writing and, from detailed studies of the trilingual Achaemenid royal inscriptions found on the ruins, the initial decipherment of cuneiform in the early 19th century. 3. Carthage. Carthage was an ancient city in northern Africa, on the eastern side of the Lake of Tunis in what is now Tunisia. Carthage was one of the most important trading hubs of the ancient Mediterranean and one of the most affluent cities of the classical world. It became the capital city of the civilization of ancient Carthage and later Roman Carthage. The ancient city was destroyed in the nearly 3-year siege of Carthage by the Roman Republic during the Third Punic War in 146 BC. It was redeveloped a century later as Roman Carthage, which became the major city of the Roman Empire in the province of Africa. The question of Carthaginian decline and demise has remained a subject of literary, political, artistic, and philosophical debates in both ancient and modern histories. 2. Tikal. Tikal is the ruin of an ancient city, which was likely to have been called Yaxmutal, found in a rainforest in Guatemala. It is one of the largest archaeological sites and urban centers of the pre-Columbian Maya civilization. It is located in the archaeological region of the Petén Basin in what is now northern Guatemala. Situated in Petén Department, the site is part of Guatemala's Tikal National Park, and in 1979, it was declared a UNESCO World Heritage Site. This ancient Mayan city, hidden in the rainforests of Guatemala, was a thriving metropolis between AD 200 and 900, until it was eventually abandoned, leaving its mystical ruins behind. The city likely housed a population of 40,000 to 60,000 people at its height in the late Classic period, AD 600 to 900. According to Stephen D. Houston, an archaeologist with Brown University, the city was able to support such a large population because of the intensive agriculture in the marshy lands that surrounded it. Today, researchers like Houston use a new technology called LiDAR to look for structures in the lost city. LiDAR uses pulsed lasers aimed from aircraft above to pinpoint ancient features buried beneath the soil. And the features are aplenty. Its sprawling palaces show its probable centers of government, as well as pyramids dedicated to ancient gods, and those that house the remains of the great kings of the city, says Houston. Still, around the 9th century AD, the great city was abandoned. A study published last year in Scientific Reports has pointed to poisonous contamination due to toxic algae found in ancient reservoirs that may have made the city's water undrinkable. 1. Machu Picchu. Machu Picchu is a 15th-century Inca citadel located in the eastern Cordillera of southern Peru on a mountain ridge at 2,430 meters, 7,970 feet. Often referred to as the Lost City of the Incas, it is the most familiar icon of the Inca Empire. The Inca civilization had no written language, and following the first encounter by the Spanish soldier Baltasar Ocampo, no Europeans are recorded to have visited the site from the late 16th century until the 19th century. As far as historical knowledge extends, there are no existing written records detailing the site during its period of active use. The leading theory is that Machu Picchu was a private city for Incan royalty. The names of the buildings, their supposed uses, and their inhabitants are the product of modern archaeologists based on physical evidence, including tombs at the site. Machu Picchu was built in the classical Inca style, with polished dry stone walls. Its three primary structures are the Temple of the Sun, the Temple of the Three Windows, and the Intihuatana. From 1929 to 1971, Machu Picchu underwent extensive restoration and conservation work, including structural stabilization and artifact excavation, driven by government initiatives and research expeditions. Most recent archaeologists believe that Machu Picchu was constructed as an estate for the Inca Emperor Pachacuti, 1438 to 1472. Machu Picchu was declared a Peruvian historic sanctuary in 1982 and a UNESCO World Heritage Site in 1983. In 2007, Machu Picchu was voted one of the new 7 wonders of the world in a worldwide internet poll. So there you have it. What do you make of these places? Have you visited any? Let me know in the comments, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more content. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next video.